Good morning, people.
Good morning. Let's see if we're started here. My name is Sharon Mary Ivanhoe McPhee, and this is recording. Yes.
My name is Wayne Wasily. I've only known her about, 65 years.
Yeah. We grew up together in Slag Valley, Illinois.
Love this project.
Yes. What we're going to do today is continue our conversation on the neighborhood that we grew up with, the world we lived in back in 1950s through 1973. I'm going to move you over here so I can get you all in there. Okay, so here we are. I lived at 10126 South Commercial Avenue in Chicago, Illinois, and you lived at
10121 Escanaba, Chi-Town, block away from you.
And right across the street, actually, through a prairie, we used to run back and forth, and we lived in each other's homes, actually, because we were like one big family in Slag Valley. All the people who lived there worked hard, steel mills, iron workers, steel workers. We all worked hard to live in an environment and in a society that was harsh to people that were poor.
And none of us were well-to-do.
No,
Our parents managed to work to put food on our table and pay the rent.
Yes. We all went to school. Grammar school was John L. Marsh Elementary School.
Yep.
I want to bring your attention back to the 1960s. This is real important to me. And back in
I remember them well.
1960s, I was walking with your brother, Ronald Wasily, and Victor Savalza. On the street, we were walking towards our grammar school. We all met up, usually at Vets Park. We all played baseball, did acrobats.
Basketball, hockey, football,
everything,
all sports.
Yes, all the sports.
Boxing.
Everything was available to us. So one day I was walking down the street with Ronnie and Victor, and this lady across the street came running to me saying, "I know who you are. You're not an Ivanhoe. You are nothing. You don't have a father. You're nothing. You're a nobody." I remember that from ever. She went to hit me. She went to slap me, and Ronnie Wasily took the punch. Victor Savalza jumped back, knocked her arm out of the way. I backed off, and I ran back home to tell my grandmother. My mother wasn't home at the time. So I told my grandmother. My grandmother got out of her house and came running down the street. By that time, Ronnie Wasily went back home. Victor went back home, got their parents. We all met on Exchange Avenue, and my grandmother went to go pound on her door. She didn't answer. But it never stopped me from wondering why I was not an Ivanhoe. When I was an Ivanhoe, but I didn't have an Ivanhoe father. So I was frantic. I was so embarrassed and so insulted that I wanted to go to school with a different name. So I demanded my mother change my name to Graham. My sister had a father, so I wanted her father's name. I wanted somebody's name other than Ivanhoe because I felt insulted. I felt ashamed. And sure enough, I went back to school, and my name was Sharon Graham for a month or two, and then I realized that I wasn't Sharon Graham. I was Sharon Ivanhoe because that's the name they gave me when my mother decided to had to go to Misericordia Home for One Mothers, and they were going to give me up for adoption. My grandfather refused to give me up for adoption. He gave me the name Ivanhoe, and that's what I should have been proud of. And all those years, the neighbors who hated me because I didn't have a father, I realized that family wasn't about blood. It was, but there are other people who weren't even your blood, who loved you more than life itself, who would stick up for you and stay by your side and support you no matter what happened. And that's the kind of neighborhood we lived in. That's the kind of family Wayne Wasily's family was with my family. We depended on their family. We depended on the support and the
friendship, the love, the caring. It was all there.
Yes.
Every bit of it.
So when I decided to change my name back to Ivanhoe, it was because of that family. It was because of the camaraderie. It was because of the pride that we had in our family. My family, Ivanhoe, were very well known. They were all iron workers. They were steel workers. They had good families. They supported their families, and they had good friends. And our neighborhood was backed up by those people. Right, Wayne?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Like she said, we didn't have to be blood brothers or sisters. And that was just natural with our families. When I would go pick her brothers up for us to walk to school, her mother would clean my ears with Q-tips. Come here, you got potatoes growing in your ears? I didn't have a lunch. Her mother would make me a lunch. Her kid brothers would come over to my house. My mother, first thing, born Italian in Italy. Sit down, wash your hands, you're going to eat. That's the way it was in her neighborhood. It wasn't just her brothers, it was all of us.
Yes.
Numerous families. The Morans, the Butimers, the Latitos.
Curran.
All of them. We all took care of one another. And when we got out of hand, one of the fathers would straighten us out. That simple. We didn't have a lavish lifestyle. But there's one thing I could say. We always had food on our table, roof over our head, and clothes on our back.
And you can depend on everybody in the neighborhood. That's the important part. This lady who changed my life that day wasn't part of the group of people that you can depend on. Everybody knew the haters. Everybody knew the troublemakers. And we were not one of them. We were the families that settled the fights. We were the families that stopped the arguments in the streets. We were the families that they came to because nobody else was available. And nobody else would stick their neck out to stick up for you or stick their neck out to help you when nobody else was there to help you.
We helped each other. We stood by each other through thick and thin. Yeah, there was times we were wrong, but we paid for it with an ass whipping.
Your father was a cab driver. My Uncle Vic was a cab driver.
They worked together for years.
Yes. And believe it or not, when we used to have the radio, CB radio tower, we used to be able to pick up all kinds of communications because my uncle had a tow truck and a cab. And 24 hours a day, he would be available no matter what time to help somebody out in need. And sometimes it wouldn't be about money. It wasn't about money all the time. Even though we made good money, it wasn't about money. It was about camaraderie. It was about getting you off that street and getting you home.
The police called him when they needed a tow for an accident, whatever. I would come home late. My father would rip my ass apart. Why didn't you call Vic? Well, I don't know. Well, Vic's my buddy. He'll come and get you wherever you're at and bring you home when you're supposed to be. Because if you came in 10 minutes late, you got your ass whipped.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We did.
Yep.
Well, back in the day, in 1960s, my mother was involved with the mafia and was involved in prostitution houses. My story goes on to explain why. Why was she involved in these activities? Well, we're going to cut our story, stop it here, and we're going to continue in our next video because my phone is overheating and we already raised 2 great videos.
Tremendous.
So we're going to get to those details in the next video. Thank you very much for joining us. And we look forward to...
God bless you all. Have a great year. Not day, the year. Make the best of it because you know what? Tomorrow's not promised.
That's right.
That simple. But I'll tell you one thing. Me and this lady right here, who I love very much, we've been through hell and back. And we're still here. And guess what? We have no intentions of going anywhere. That's the way we were raised. Quitters never win. Winners never quit.
Absolutely.
And that's what we are.
Thank you very much for
Winners
listening.
to the end.
Okay. We're gonna have you next.
We will continue this conversation because there's a lot more to go. That's going to go on behind this story. A lot more.
And thank you for your attention.
Have a great day, everybody.
Okay. Bye-bye.
I love you, sweetie.
Love you.
It's my baby right here. Somebody fucks with her, they got to deal with me, and that's not good.
Absolutely. Okay. That was 9 minutes there. We did good.